Hey Jump Warriors, it's SuperHollers. I just wanted to thank you guys for helping me hit 100 subs. I really appreciate it, and I hope that we can keep on growing from here in the future. Anyways, this is a special what if. I'll only continue if you guys want me to. So with that out of the way, let's start the video. So to start things off, let me explain when Sabo regains his memories. While at the revolutionary base, Sabo picks up a newspaper which states Porcus D. Ace will be executed. At this point, Sabo's memories begin to return, but he doesn't fall unconscious as he still knows that Ace is still alive. During this time, the Paramount War is about halfway through as Luffy had just arrived to the battlefield. This means Sabo still has time to get to the battlefield and attempt to rescue Ace, but also reuniting with both his brothers. Sabo is prepared to leave alone, but I do think some of the members of the Revolutionary Army wouldn't allow him to go alone, like Koala and a few others. I don't believe Dragon would go, so he'll remain at the base. Ready to go, Sabo sets off on a revolutionary ship along with some members to the Paramount War. Meanwhile, at Marineford, the battle rages on as Luffy's Conqueror's Haki explodes during the war, giving them more time to save Ace as originally. Events all play the same here, with Ace being rescued from his cuffs as he and Luffy fight their way through the Marines to escape. Akainu still mocks Whitebeard, poking at Ace's emotions to fight him, and their fight ends the same, with the magma overpowering Ace's fire, and the Marine Admiral attacks Luffy, attempting to kill him. Ace, as we all know, gets in Akainu's way to save Luffy, but at this moment, Sabo has already arrived as he jumped from his ship, grabbing Ace and Luffy, moving them out of harm's way from Akainu's attack, meaning he saved both of his brothers' lives. After saving his brothers, Ace immediately recognizes Sabo due to knowing him far longer than Luffy did. Luffy is in disbelief and shocked after everything that had just happened. Sabo tells his brothers that he'll explain everything later, but that they needed to escape alive first. Agreeing with him, Ace and Luffy continue their escape as they fight the Marines alongside Sabo. Since Whitebeard had witnessed Akainu almost kill Ace, the Emperor was angry, although not as much in the main story, but it was enough to give Akainu a beating that gave the brothers more than enough time to escape. Shanks' crew does show up and eventually to end the war as both sides stop fighting. The Marines could have accomplished their main objective to execute Porcus D. Ace, and Marineford was completely destroyed due to Blackbeard taking Whitebeard's power after he died, which means that the Marines lost far more here than they originally did, and it could almost be seen as a loss if it wasn't for the fact that the war ended with the death of Whitebeard. Now let's go back to the brothers. After escaping, Luffy passed out due to all the reckless things he had done during the war, and this is when Law's ship appears and he offers to heal not just Luffy, but almost everyone else that had been hurt during the war. The three brothers had escaped through one of Whitebeard's ships and a few members were on board, including those from the Revolutionary that came to support Sabo. They all agreed since Law didn't seem to be lying and he wasn't really a threat because Ace or Sabo could stop him if he tried anything. While Luffy is being healed, Sabo explains everything to Ace about how he lost his memories, was saved by the Revolutionary Army, and regained his memories because of the newspaper, while also apologizing quite a bit for not being able to be there for him and Luffy. Ace is mad at Sabo, but it's not because Sabo had forgotten about them, it's because he had truly thought he had died. Although Ace is mad, he is also happy that Sabo is alive, and grateful to him for saving him and Luffy. A few days pass and Luffy finally wakes up, and this time he has no scar on his chest since he was never grazed by Akainu. Once awake, Sabo explains everything he had told Ace to Luffy, but he isn't really listening that much as he's crying like he did during Dressrosa. The three brothers then spend time together trying what to decide to do next. Sabo tells them that he's still going to remain a member of the Revolutionary Army, which comes as a relief to the members of the army that came to Marineford, and Ace tells them that he's going to help reform the Whitebeard Pirates and that he's going to decide what to do from there. Luffy tells them that he's going to meet up with his crew and travel to the New World, but this is when Ace and Sabo both tell him that he isn't ready for the New World yet, and that he should train before then, as it was filled with a lot of strong people like at Marineford. This is ultimately a wake-up call for Luffy, as he remembers how outmatched he was not just at Marineford, but also at Sabo, where the Straw Hats were defeated. Since he's told this, he realizes that he must get stronger. This is when Ace offers the idea of the three of them training together like they did when they were kids, so that not just Luffy could get stronger, but all three of them. You see, being beaten by Blackbeard and the Kano made Ace see that he must also become stronger. Before Luffy and Sabo responded, Bull Hancock's ship appears with Rayleigh aboard. Rayleigh has overheard their conversation and explains to them that he could take over Luffy's training after them, since he knew Ace had to go rebuild the Whitebeard pirates and that Sabo still had his duties as a revolutionary. The decision ultimately comes down to Luffy, and he decides that the Straw Hats would all need 2 years to get stronger. The three brothers and Rayleigh then head to the destroyed Marineford, since there wasn't much security there, and Luffy rings the bell and a photo is taken which reveals a 3D crossed out on Luffy's arm and a 2Y right beside it. After this act, they escape and the message is still sent across the world. The Straw Hats get the message and their training begins. Meanwhile, Sabo, Ace, Luffy, and Rayleigh arrive on an island called Rusukaina. Once they arrive, their training begins with the basics of Haki. Although Ace didn't know it, he had used Haki before in the past, which meant that he was able to get a quicker grasp on it than Luffy. This means that both Ace and Luffy learned armament, observation, and even Conqueror's Haki, since Ace does also have it. Through sparring, Ace, Sabo, and Luffy are able to get stronger Haki, though it's clear that Ace and Sabo are both stronger than Luffy. Sabo has the best mastery over his Haki, as he also has the advanced Haki that Rayleigh displayed. After about a month of training, Ace leaves to go help reform the Whitebeard pirates and Sabo goes back to the Revolutionary Army. They have both gotten much stronger through the sparring sessions, and left the rest of Luffy's training to Rayleigh, while the three brothers also promised that they would meet in the New World. 2 years later, a stronger Luffy than the main story emerges, and all the Straw Hats reunite on Sabayori, as that arc basically goes the same. Now for future time skip arcs, I see a lot of things changing, but whether I continue this what if is up to you guys. So let me know in the comments if you want more parts to this.